for children. I am Councillor Donaghy, and we'll begin the meeting. The first item on the agenda is the monitoring of Executive Cabinet member decisions. You've had an enclosure. Members, any comments, questions, queries?
No, nobody's indicating, Councillor Donaghy.
Okay, thanks. We note the report. Item 2 is the Department of Children's Services Financial Monitoring Report, Q3, and there's an enclosure. I think Lisa Butcher's dealing with this.
I think it's Lynn Hargreaves.
Yeah.
Hargreaves, sorry. Hi, Elaine. Are you okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Ask Lynn to proceed, please.
Yeah. So the revenue expenditure is reported to be minus 15 million, but after a movement from reserves, it will be a balanced budget. Then there's a dedicated school grant, which is expected to be 40k less than the grant. The reserves position is expected to be in deficit. Well, the main reserve is going to be 21.93, but there will be a deficit reserve on the general children's reserve. Table 2.1 is just giving details of any budget changes within the year on both the children's budget and the dedicated schools grant. We had savings in year, and the last saving has been realised in this report, which was 200k from youth services. There's then a breakdown of the 15 million deficit by department, and then the same for dedicated schools grant, a breakdown. And then there's the capital programme in table 3. Table 4 just shows the reserve movements. And so then this report, the recommendations are just to note the revenue budget changes in year, note the projected financial outturn position at 31st of March, agree that Director of Children's has delegated authority to procure off contract agency, note changes within the capital programme, and agree that the Director of Children's has delegated authority to call off on the framework for capital programmes as detailed in section 3. And then the appendix just give a further breakdown of the savings, the capital and the reserves position.
Thanks very much, Lynn. Members, any questions, comments or queries on the report?
Councillor Galloway's got a hand up, Chair.
Okay, Anne.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just ask the 15 million deficit, that's for the year end?
Yes, but we are going to get some reserve movements from corporate finance that's been agreed, that Tony Glennon has detailed, which is coming from inflationary money that they've got within the corporate budget that they're going to redirect back to each department. So that will show in the Q4. So it will go down the 15 million at Q4.
But so just so members are clear, we are under huge pressure, and as many of you who've sat on this meeting for a long time know, that is predominantly linked to children's placements across fostering and external residential. There's an awful lot of work going on and has been going on to reduce, but the challenges we face are market driven, because as you also know, the numbers of children in care have come down significantly, the costs have gone up, and the complexity of the children has gone up. So we're not alone in that. That is something that is a national issue, but we are working hard to address that. But it is a huge pressure for us, but as a council as well.
Yes, yeah, I understand the pressures. With the 15 million in the Q3, in the Q2 monitoring report, it said 11 million. So did you not envisage that it would go up so much? Is the 11 million which you estimated in I think it was November, the meeting, was that the outturn figure for the end of the financial year? But now you estimate it to be 15 million.
Yeah, that's what we're expecting, but it's due to the cost of the residential placements that are coming on, and the cost per week is rising. For every new placement we get, the cost per week is much higher than the ones that are actually leaving the service. So we weren't expecting such a rise.
It is a big jump,
from 11 million to 50 million. So the quarter four, when we do it in, what is it, April?
Will be higher.
So what are you estimating it to be then?
Well, I don't want to be drawn on that, but I think that, I mean, that all depends on how impactful the work we do behind the scenes is, and what the uplift is in April. So a lot of the providers now are looking for their 24-25 uplifts, and we're in a debate with them about whether that uplift is 1%, 2%, in some cases 20% is being asked for. Obviously, Lynn, Sandra, Tracy and their teams are doing a lot of work in the background, and I obviously do some work with providers to push back on their outrageous requests. But at the end of the day, we need placements for children, and one of our challenges is that our health colleagues at the moment have got their hands tied behind their backs because they're not in a position to agree any funding because of the Integrated Care Board oversight on the dire financial position that Greater Manchester ICB finds itself in. So the previous joint funding that we might have had for placements is under pressure, as are a number of our preventative commissioning arrangements. And I'm leaving this meeting this morning to go and meet with senior health colleagues to discuss some of the issues, because if you read my article this week in Children and Young People Now, you will see that I am really clear that I understand my responsibilities as a statutory officer, and the council are very committed to funding placements and care for children, but health needs to come to the table in this space, and currently they're not. So if we continue to see health pull away from their commitment to joint funding of placements, we will see that figure rise exponentially, and one might consider that it's already in a somewhat challenged position.
Thank you. That's disappointing, because I know that you did a lot of work, was it about two years ago, with health, to get more, to get joint funding. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, okay, thanks, Anne. Members, any further comments or questions?
No hands,
Okay,
Chair. No.
Thank you. Very well. I approve the recommendations as outlined in the report. Thank you. Item 3 is the dedicated schools grant, and
Julie Edwards, I think, Chair. Julie Edwards.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. So this report is to agree the allocation of the dedicated schools grant 24-25. The main body of the report is the Schools Forum report from the 19th of January, where the Schools Forum met and made recommendations to this meeting. It sets out the DSG allocation, the consultation we've been through with schools, the operation of the Growth Fund, de-delegation arrangements, central block arrangements. But what I particularly want to highlight in this report is the early years extension to entitlement change.